Hello, I'm Paterno Esmaquel. Welcome to Rappler. We're now in Davao City, and with us today is Mr. Kublai Millan. He's one of the most prolific artists here in Mindanao, and he's going to talk to us about his work and the message he wants to send through his art. Good day, Mr. Millan.
Yeah, hello.
Mr. Millan, you're known as one of the best artists here in the region. How did it all begin?
Hindi naman it's not that I'm the best. I'm just here to do, well, cultural work. And it started, with this hotel, this Ponce Suites. So I went home to express, but little did I know that I was meant for bigger things. So I started expressing myself, and then I think Mindanao, the spirit of this island, well, gave me this new insight.
Before we go there, you said you went home to express. You went home from where and to express what?
Well, I studied in Manila and worked there in Manila as a graphic designer. So I do work for other people. So as paid advertising agency, and then here it's more like I'm doing it for myself.
So what convinced you to come home?
I think I had too much of the city, and then so I went home. And then I think the beaches and the mountains and the waterfalls had something to say. And it brought this new kind of art. I mean, for me, new definition for my art, which is, well, grounded.
How would you describe your type of art? Your trademark?
I don't know. But here in Mindanao, if you go around, you would hit rotondas and municipalities and cities and parks. They're all over. So you would know them when you see one. It's too big, it's too visual, it blocks your eye, it blocks you literally. You would see them.
What's one common element among all these beautiful works of yours?
Aside from its being big, it speaks about culture. I cannot talk literally about my spirituality, but it's hidden there. It's embedded in my pieces. But it's more culture, history, and a lot of children.
For example, the first thing we see in Davao is your giant masterpiece of the Durian and the Philippine eagle. What do you want to express through those welcoming pieces of art?
Well, in the Durian at the airport, you would see basically the settlers of the city. We have the Muslims, the Christians, and of course the indigenous peoples. So all in one fruit. So we're simply saying
their faces are there.
The figures, the whole figure, replacing inside the seed, inscribed in the fruit. We're simply saying that we are ripe, we are ready, and we are here to face the world as we are.
And what about the eagle?
The eagle, well, I've done so many eagles for Davao City. They get bigger every year, and it's a simple reminder that if we lose our habitat, we lose our eagles. So we have to keep on telling everybody that the eagle has to survive.
That's very deep.
But of course, I don't explain that to people. They're just symbols.
I've also been to the People's Park, and I saw your works, the children. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, all the, like, I think 100 figures of children, of
Yes.
sculptures in that park it's basically about children. And I believe that there's only bona fide teachers in the world, children. So it's my thank you to children.
And you said a while ago that there's one special child in that group of children.
Yeah, because of my first boy, I was so inspired at the time, and I think that was there was a certain point in my art when I said, if it has nothing to do with children, then I am not part of that art. I'm not part of that project, and I will not do that commission.
You included your little boy in that.
Yeah, he is my inspiration.
Why will you not do a project that does not involve children?
Because it's a waste of time.
Really?
I think so. Everything we do has to do with children, and they're our future. So, I do a lot of artworks, monuments, and parks, and I think that our children has to have that new consciousness. I mean, this new culture about peace, about nonviolence, it's about being gentle, and I show that in my art, in my sculptures, and the children are so loving, etc.
Aside from that element of children, you've said that you're exclusive to Mindanao.
Yeah, I have always been exclusive to Mindanao because it was by choice.
What does it mean first to be exclusive to Mindanao?
I think that I was born here in Mindanao, and I think it's my birthright, and my gift for that blessing. So if every artist, or everybody for that matter, would stay longer in the place where they were born, and look around and look how they could help. So I stayed long enough right now. I look around, and this is how I could help. I build parks, I build monuments, I make art, and I write the stories through art. So if we could all do that, then I think the world will be better.
Why do you think does Mindanao need help?
Well, there's so much violence and misunderstanding and injustice, and everybody needs help. But here, like any artist, the pieces around here I could still work with my hands. The other parts, it's too far out for me. But of course, recently it has changed.
How do you feel about the news of conflict in some parts of Mindanao and the perceptions of Filipinos that the whole of Mindanao is chaotic, is violent?
I have.
How do you feel about that?
I came out with a book recently. It's my photography and poetry book. Now, this features some of the best places in Mindanao, and I will prove to the world there's no violence in those photographs. So maybe who's wrong? Who's portraying that Mindanao is having problems? You go to a waterfall. Is there anything there? You go to a white sand beach, to an island. So I think it's perception. That's why art in its little way can make a difference.
So how do you feel about that?
At the moment, it's protecting our forests, that image, but somehow, in reality, that we should really push for well, I don't know. It's too political. I cannot answer your question.
Why is it political?
How people perceive Mindanao? Well, it's, how do I say it? It's kind of bad for the image of Mindanao. It's bad for our growth, but in many ways, it protects our mountains and the cultural villages. You know, there are pros and cons. Yeah.
Dahil walang pumupunta.
Yeah.
But what would be the ideal setup for you?
The ideal setup would be to project a culture of peace. That's it. So that's why in all the parks that I build now, there is some sort of a symbol about peace. And if we could create like a little sacred space in any of those municipalities and cities, that would generate that loving energy. That's why I'm into parks.
So how does art help in achieving peace? Art does not go to the negotiating table.
No.
Art cannot feed you.
No.
How does art help?
For example, I'll give you one example. We put up a monument in the middle of a municipality that's very quiet. And then there we put images of people from different diversity, the Muslims, the Lumads, the Christians, in one piece. And then they would say, oh, my brother Muslim is beside me in that sculpture and we are not having any problems. We respect each other in that monument. And that visual image would now project to the people. And then true enough, we've created that kind of feeling amongst the people. So because the art is big enough to block your eyes, it's there to put an image in your head.
So that's why your artworks are
Big.
big,
Yes.
gigantic.
Yes.
You said a while ago that art is your calling. Why is it your calling?
Because I wake up every day to do my art. This is where my body would go every day. This is where my heart and my mind would go. And right now, I'm doing work that's outside my comfort zones, and it's a calling because you are called.
Just my last few questions. What message do you want to send through your art? In a few words.
Well, I've been trying to find peace myself, but my sculptures have found peace. But of course, in my search for that peace, I keep on moving. I have to keep on moving. So it's difficult. But now that I'm doing work for community art, it gives me that sense of peace. So I hope that every artist would come out, be full and come out and find their own calling.
My last question. If I look at your art, why should I visit Mindanao?
Because it might give you a new and better perspective on life. What I found in Mindanao, well, in my search for the heavens, I have to look down instead of looking up. So down to earth is my way up to heaven. And Mindanao amongst the islands is the closest to earth.
And it can also be our way up to heaven.
I'm sharing that to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Millan. We've been speaking to Mr. Kublai Millan. Thank you for joining us.